The Sibudu Cave is about a 40-minute drive from Durban along the north coast. It's located at the base of the Otongati River, which is safest to cross at low tide. At first glimpse, the rock shelter is a light brown, majestically towering cliff. A tricky river crossing with slippery moss rocks and dry boulders. The only way to reach the Sibudu Cave? Up and over. Steep and slim, somewhat daunting rocky steps. There's simply no other way. Slow and steady does it until you reach a bit of a landing. The summit, finally, the Sibudu Cave. Dr. Mkholisi Dlamuka was part of the team that traveled to the 46th session of the World Heritage Committee in New Delhi, in India.
So you then begin to see that a particular behavioral pattern is emerging in these caves. So what we then say, this is the beginning of modern thinking. Homo sapiens sapiens, which is our ancestors, were beginning to think in a manner that we are thinking today.
Aaron Maisel of the Natal Museum would first excavate the cave in 1983. And thus was revealed a treasure trove of evidence that points to what is essentially the evolution in the thinking of the human species in the Middle Stone Age. Archaeologists have so far discovered evidence of spears, bone and stone arrows, and a bone needle, possibly used to puncture an animal. Evidence has also been found that the inhabitants of the Sibudu Cave at the time used ash for medicinal purposes and leaves placed around them to deter insects. And so a particular behavioral pattern began to emerge.
A stone that is fossilized with an arrow. And then they would pick that, they would nicely carve that, take it and study it, date it. So what we know now, we know that humanity in terms of thinking began here, but we need to understand how were the gender relations among those people. We need to understand what kind of medicines did they use, what kind of animals did they eat.
The current excavation is being carried out by a team from the University of Tübingen in Germany.
We are, in fact, somewhere this month sending a student from the area to study Master of Science in Archaeology at Tübingen University. She's going to come back, possibly continue with the excavation. So what we're trying to do is to build a continuous relationship with the academic fraternity so that, you know, what makes the cave more interesting is new information.
Ultimately, he says, among the many goals is for communities surrounding these three sites to become historical entrepreneurs.
Getting a World Heritage status is just the beginning. So I felt we've just begun to work. When I will feel we have achieved is when there are people around here who are making a living because of the site. So when the site begins to contribute to the economy of KwaDukuza or Ilembe, economy of KwaZulu-Natal, when there are people who are employed or who have generated businesses that support the operation of the site. So that's really when I will feel that we've achieved.
While there is great celebration around the recognition of the Sibudu Cave, it is as important for access to the site to be limited and controlled to preserve it. In light of this, plans are underway for an online virtual reality portal to take the magic of the Sibudu Cave to the world and, in time, a visitor's center. Minoshni Pillay, SABC News, Durban.